What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you had a wonderful day so far, and yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been posting videos last month. October was just a little bit overwhelming for me. Yeah, but I'm hoping that I will get back to posting regularly from this point on. And I wanted to start off this month with a drawing tutorial on hair because I've been getting a lot of comments on how I draw hair, and I actually don't really like how I draw it, but I figured maybe some of you guys would be interested to see the process behind how I come up with hairstyles, the process to see how I do my hair or draw my hair. Yeah, and for that I have sketched out a little EO. Maybe some of you guys already know her. She's the main character of my webcomic that isn't published yet, and I haven't drawn in the hair yet. That's why her appearance looks so weird today, but don't worry, we will be getting there in a bit. Yeah, so I guess without further ado, we can just jump right into it, right? Okay, so I usually sketch in color, mostly in red or blue, and most of the times I make several sketches, a very rough one and then a more defined one, and if I need one, even a more defined and detailed one. So yeah, and I always switch between colors, red, blue. Sometimes I even can get like purple or something like that. Okay, so I use the Norinda pen for sketching. I usually don't use any other one. That's just my standard pen for sketching. And then I already start. I know that I kind of like look where her hairline starts, but I don't sketch it in. I'm just marking it in my head. And usually I make swift, quick strokes, and yeah. And then she has how's it called, braids, but I'm not going to draw braids today because that's something for another time. I'm not quite happy with how I draw braids yet, so I'm just gonna give her straight hair. And yeah, so usually I cover up this ear. Sometimes I don't. Oh, well, you know, for the sake of the video, I think I won't cover it. She's just gonna tuck in her hair behind the ear. Yeah, and the rest of it is just straight and long. And I already drew, like, colored in the head because it looked weird without it, but I'm not always sticking to that size of hair depending on how it looks. So yeah, in the middle of the bang where we started, that's that point, I usually start to spread the hair out. Like, this is her hairline where her hair parts, and I kind of make these strokes that go outwards to indicate that this is where the hair parts. Alrighty, and yeah, now that I have the very rough sketch, I'm just going to open a new layer. I take the other one and I lower the opacity, and then I'm going to choose a new color for my sketching. You know, maybe I'm not going to take blue this time because her sweater is blue and maybe I would get confused. So I'm taking purple today. And maybe I'll even lower the thickness of my pen. And then I'm just gonna draw over the lines that I already created, but some a little bit more defined and controlled, but still kind of sketchy. And this is the time where I'll adjust any weird looking hairs that I drew the first time, any mistakes that I made. And in this part I'm also making the ends of the hair a bit detailed. Okay, so now that this is somehow done, I decide whether I like it how it is or if I need some more details. And if I need some more details, I will probably just create another layer and take another color and just draw over it again. But I'm happy with how this turned out, so I'm just gonna create a new layer and I will take the color black, not completely black in this corner here, a bit more to the side, and probably red because her hair color is red, like that. You won't see the red in the lines, but I don't know. And then I go to calligraphy and choose the last one in that set. And because I'm drawing on a very big canvas, I'm basically thickening the lines a little bit, but if I'm drawing a smaller picture, like more defined, like a full body, I will use very thin strokes. But yeah, since I'm drawing so big on a big canvas, I will thicken it a little bit so it's a bit more defined. And yeah, then basically what's left to do is just do the line art. Okay, now that that is done, I can go on in and hide the other layer, and usually I check if there are some parts that look wonky or it's weird or I forgot something and so on. And if I'm happy with it, and if I don't find anything weird anymore, yeah, then I can go in and create a new layer, but underneath this layer, and I choose my hair color, which is red for EO. And then I color it in, and I use the paint tool for that. And again, this part is also very self-explanatory, so I'm just gonna quickly color it in. Now we can go into the fun part of this, which is the shading. And for that I create again a new layer, and I make it a clipping layer so that everything that I draw sticks to the colored in part, and only that will be colored in next. Okay, and then I use the color that I used to color in, and I take this how do you call it, the color wheel, I would say, because if you use the wheel, that's that part, but I use this thing, so yeah. And I go a bit towards blue so that it becomes a little bit purple but not too obvious, and also I make it darker, but not only darker, I also make it more saturated. So I go in this kind of L shape. Yeah, I go a bit darker and also more saturated, and then I go into the airbrush section and I select a kind of smooth up brush. I'm not sure how this is called in English, but if you have Procreate, I'm sure you will know which kind of brush that is. So yeah, I use that one. Well, I start off with it, and then if I'm not happy, I can see what other brushes I use, but mostly for shading in hair, I use the whole airbrush set. And yeah, then I start somewhere, mostly at the bangs, and I start with okay, that's too pink. I go and darken the edges and the lower part of the bangs. Also, everywhere where I created an indentation, I also color it in a bit. And to be honest, I'm sorry, but I don't really know how to explain this part because it's somehow a bit intuitive. Yeah, but you can see what I'm doing. So anywhere where I see lines, I will probably color some part of it in and see where it goes. If it looks good, I will erase it and start off new. And yeah, don't hesitate to color in big parts with this color yet, because we will use two other darker colors that are going to be more defining. So yeah, this is just the regular shading color. And sometimes I use this tool, I think it's called the smudge tool, and I have it set on this kind of a brush in the airbrush section, and I adjust the size of it, and then I blur some of the edges. If I think that it looks too harsh, I'm just going to quickly soften the edges of the color. Sometimes when I zoom out and look at it from a bit afar, I see that it's way too not enough, way too little shading, because as I said, there will be two other darker colors we will shade in later, and there's too little of this color already. There aren't a lot of details we can put in later. So yeah. Of course, if you have a painting or a drawing where you have a light source that's not coming from above, oh, I can't draw it in. That's not coming from above. You will have to adjust the light. For example, if my sun or my light source is somewhere around here, then the part where I now made everything dark is going to be lighter, and this part will be more dark. So you have to take that into consideration, of course. But for the most part, I'm drawing pictures where the light source is coming from somewhere above or from the side. So yeah, that's how I do it. Okay, the first base shading color is done. Now I create a new layer, of course, clip it again, and I make the same kind of color choosing thing I do always. I go a bit to the side of the blue, make it a bit more purple, you might say. I darken the color and I make it more saturated. And I think that is going to be a little bit too pink, so I'm just gonna, yeah, that's alright. Alright, and this is the color where I will mostly make it a bit more detailed, but some parts will still be very dark. And I go in with the same brush and just anywhere where you can see corners of where hair strands meet, you can darken that. And this is too purple for me, so I'm just gonna go back. This method doesn't always work with hair colors, but I mostly do it with my skin colors always. So this is too red now. Wow, Lexi. Okay. Yes, this is perfect. Okay, anywhere where you can see that there are corners or hair strands are meeting up, this is where I'm going to define it a little bit. And also the fake hair strands we created with the shading color, that is where we are going to detail it as well, make it a bit more in depth. And yeah, in this part I will use the smudge tool even more because I want it to be detailed but not too harsh. It's a very light shading color part. Okay, now that we have the second color done too, we can go on to the third color, which is also a new layer in a clipping mask, and it's even darker. And don't worry, this time we won't color in as much. This is just for the little crevices and little, yeah, just to deepen it a bit more. And I'm just gonna put it anywhere where it needs to be very dark. the shading. And the last thing that we're going to do is create another layer, another clipping layer, and add some lighting. So, and for that, I'm not going to use like pink or something, but depending on the color of my light source. So today, maybe let's go with yellow because it matches her eyes. We're just going to choose a very light yellow and still the same brush, but a bit bigger. And now we're just going the middle line that I told you guys earlier. This is where we are going to add the lighting, and just what I like to do is just add some little blobs of lights. They don't really have to make sense, and afterwards you can like blur them out or erase them, anything like that. Maybe I will lower the opacity a bit later so it's not too harsh. Yeah, I'll add it into the middle of the hair, and also I create a bit of light at the edges of the hair where the hair meets the lights, so to speak. And of course here in the middle, like we talked about earlier. And in the lengths, I'm just going to add some strokes. And also, of course, the little rim of light. And as I said, these are completely random. They don't make any sense at all. I'm not thinking about it at all. These are just random blobs and strokes. And yeah, now I'm going to lower the opacity a little bit and maybe even blur them out a little bit more, like that. And yeah, this is how I draw hair. So I guess we're done. Thank you guys for watching this video today. Tell me what you guys think. This was done in Procreate on the iPad now. If you guys want, I can show you how I'm doing it on Clip Studio Paint. However, I'm not using that one too much. Thank you guys for watching again. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!